John Stevens and Andrew Chafin, and excited to kind of dive into what I've been helping them, I guess, sort of helping them over the past few months build. Just some of my input, but I'm excited to share some of that stuff. But guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So up to you guys on who wants to kind of take each question, but let's start with who is Argo Analytics and what do you guys do?
Sure. I'll take that. So Argo Analytics is a data analytics consultancy. We do a lot of professional services work for medium and large businesses. And we've always had a passion for building products, but professional services is our day-to-day job. So we got hired by medium and large companies to set up data infrastructure, analytics for them. John and I have a long history in the space. It's always not fun to brag about yourself, so I get to brag about John, and he brags about me a little bit. So we'll switch off here. John has over 20 years experience in data analytics, data management. He's got a PhD, a couple master's degrees, a couple bachelor's degrees. He was a principal data scientist at Domo, a leading business intelligence vendor, and also ran analytics for their analytics team inside that company. And then we've been doing this together for the last 5 years. We've got a team of about 25, and we try to build these products just because we have a product itch, and we love the self-storage space. We've got some friends that introduced us to the space and been sending referrals in, and it's been fun to work with you on this project.
Yeah. Appreciate it. John, did you have anything to add there?
Yeah. So Andrew's also brilliant. He's been in sales for forever and was the data science director at that company that we worked at together. That's where we met. But prior to that, he also has a master's degree in neuroscience and has all sorts of very fascinating stories about some of the grants and research that he worked on. Both of us do come from kind of a science background. And we try to bring that in on how do we take the data and organize it and present it in a way that makes the most sense, not only for what you need right now in terms of what's kind of going on or what has happened, but setting it up so that you can start to do some more machine learning and AI stuff. And that's all prepped and ready to go from that fundamental state from the get-go. And so that's one of our real fun things.
Cool. Awesome. So before we dive into kind of how, and actually I've got a demo that we're going to try to pull up here live, but not live, but I guess recorded live for us. Before we dive into that, what else do you guys do that's different from what you've kind of helped me?
Sure. The typical organization that works with us is frustrated by fundamentally, it's the lack of automation, right? Mm-hmm. There is a lot of manual work sometimes that goes into pulling raw data from multiple sources, getting that data to talk to each other or combine in a way that makes sense, and then make decisions or automate processes. So that's when you get down to the real foundation. That's fundamentally what we're doing is automation to some extent, right? It's the automation of data pipelines to pull data from multiple sources. It's the automation of the logic to get that data to talk to each other. It's the automation of the analysis of that data and sometimes even taking action. With AI now, you can take things even a step further than you could, let's say, a year ago. So it's a pretty fun time in the space. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, John.
No, that's it. It's automation. And we know that people now, there's so many systems for everything, and trying to bounce back and forth between all of those while dealing with the people and the business and actually trying to make money is a pain. And so being able to automate that saves a lot of time, generates a lot of value. And again, farther we can get down that automation stack, the better it seems to be for people. Free up that time so that you can go do the more important things.
For sure. Yeah. Well, and that's why I reached out to you guys, right? And I used Cubby software, but I also use QuickBooks Online. And I have to create an Excel spreadsheet that has become pretty, I enjoy doing, inputting data from Cubby and QuickBooks Online into the spreadsheet. I actually enjoy it. However, it's become quite a bit of a task to do. And I do that several times a month. So that's why I reached out. I think I reached out to Cubby first, and then they recommended you guys. So that's what you guys have we'll kind of fast forward a little bit here, but that's what you guys have been building is, and I'm assuming with any type of storage software, but basically you've connected my Cubby software with my QuickBooks Online. Yeah. You guys want to elaborate? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you're saying it right. Well, with other groups, I mean, I think about this in kind of a tiered perspective. For smaller organizations or for organizations that have just a couple of systems, you can build a product like this and it'll deliver 80 or 90% of what you'd want, right? As you start to scale up, you kind of have to go almost always into some sort of custom solution, right? As you get into, let's say, dozens or hundreds of employees, it's almost impossible to just have a pre-built tool that will get you really what you need. And so that's usually the space that we're playing in, is in those larger organizations where a pre-built tool just won't do. You got too many custom things going on. You got too large of an organization. You got a custom strategy that you're trying to implement. And so it's to some extent a bit of a business strategy of ours, is that we become contacts and friends with you as you're small, and we grow with you, right? So when the custom solution becomes the right thing for you, there's already a relationship of trust there, and we can take what is already working for you and build on it in a custom fashion when it's needed. But yeah, fundamentally, the goal with what we're calling smarter self-storage right now is for it to be property management system agnostic. You're using Cubby, but we would love to work with anybody, whether on SiteLink or storage or anything else. If they're on Sage or QuickBooks or anything else on that side as well. And those are the core operating systems, as I understand it, is the property management system and the accounting system. So if anybody would like to work with us in any of those, that's the goal of this product. I don't know if you want anything, John.
Nope.
So I'm curious, John Farling, with your process of bringing all your stuff together in Excel, how did that process develop over time, and why was it painful enough that you were hitting up Cubby in the first place?
Yeah, I didn't know I was getting interviewed here, but I like it. Good question.
Curious.
I think it was, well, I know where it started. I went to visit KO Storage, which we had the founder on here, I don't know, a couple months ago, but went to visit their headquarters, and they pulled up their reporting tool, and I'm like, this thing, it's my spreadsheet on steroids, and it was just opened my eyes, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to be building a spreadsheet to pull all data, right? Because just my Cubby data is great, but I also have QuickBooks Online, which covers a lot more, and I wanted to bring everything together to have kind of a global picture of everything. So that's kind of where it started. And yeah, my Excel spreadsheet basically is kind of like what you guys have built. It's got Cubby information. It's got QuickBooks Online information. Shows my net profit, gross profit, all those things, move-ins. I've just got it in a different spot. And then what you guys have done, have put bar graphs in, which I have some of those. I like graphs. And not saying that Cubby or Storage or ESS, any of those don't have, all the data, at least on the storage side, that I wanted, because for the most part they do. It just doesn't. There's still some things missing, which I think you guys have filled the holes on. So yeah, it's and we'll get into kind of what it looks like a little bit here, but yeah, that's basically where it came from with me.
Cool. So that's really a common thing we've heard from a lot of people, is that you have this need, or you see something and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that was a need, or how awesome it could be. And then you start playing with it in a spreadsheet because it's easy and accessible. And if you do that well, it becomes then essential. And then it just starts taking up more and more of your time to keep that updated while you've got so many other things. So yeah, we've heard that from all sorts of people across all industries. That's just a super common thing. And again, that's what we like to do, is then take that and automate it. So not taking up any of your time, but you get that value and then more. And then charts and graphs are really fun, because I know a lot of people are used to, once you build it in a spreadsheet, you're used to seeing it, and you can kind of find the patterns. But there's a lot of data in those spreadsheets, and turning it into charts and graphs actually can can help in a lot of ways from a psychological point of view of being able to understand and see patterns. Your brain will recognize patterns easier in a bar chart than it can looking at 30 columns on a spreadsheet. And so being able to pull out and extract those things and lay those out right. The hope is that it will then allow you as the individual to see those patterns, be able to recognize what the patterns mean, and then go and take action faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, let's, do you guys have anything before we start sharing here?
No, let's see it.
Cool. Let me see if I can figure this out. We're going to add to the stage. All right. So if you're not watching, if you're just listening on podcast, you're going to miss a little bit here, but we do have this on YouTube so you can see it. So you guys can go through this and I can scroll if you want, but this is the, when you log in, this is the demo. You guys have built me a separate one, but this is a demo right now. And this is the dashboard when you log in.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, do you want to go through it or should we? Like, what are you, when you,
I would say,
your
yeah,
version,
if one of you guys want to go through it, that'd be great. Unless you want me. Yeah, I would say you guys go through it.
Okay. So yeah, on our first view, we're just trying to look at some of those really high level things. So which areas, which stores, which facilities are doing well. So we've got this chart, we've got some, so by default, all of the facilities are then listed out. And so you can kind of see who's doing well, who's not doing well in comparison, and some filters. So you can look at the date range and start to play with those. If you click on where it says facility name, John, we can actually go through and check some of these on and off. We can clear selections. We can turn things off. And then the chart will automatically update. So if there's a certain region or area that you really want to look into or compare two specific facilities and say, well, I thought these two should be pretty much the same. How are they doing? You can start doing those comparisons, some of those important pieces. And then I think as we scroll down.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, I was going to say, we don't have to hit everything here because it's a lot, right? And people can reach out to you if they want to learn more. And some of this stuff is going to be in their storage software right now. But again, everything is in one spot here, which is nice. So yeah, this is move-ins per facility. But this is kind of where you get into marrying, for me, Cubby and QuickBooks Online.
Yeah, so taking those two pieces of data and combining them, we can start to do things like look at the revenues, look at the financials, the pieces of those. And yeah, again, I feel like the main point is, how are you doing? We've got a bunch of comparisons. I think some of those are on some of the other tabs, but comparing either one site to another to see which ones are doing well, which ones are not, and where you may need to make some changes, because that's one of those decisions you can make, whether that's staffing, whether that's marketing, whatever needs to happen to try and help the lower performing stores get far better than the high, or more closer to the high performers.
Yeah. We're not just looking at, because right now it's, and I think a lot of business owners in general, but storage owners are looking at, for storage, it's like move-ins, net move-ins, rent roll, gross revenue, right? This ties everything in. So for example, and I don't know, we'd have to do some digging, which we don't have to do right now, but I've got advertising costs. Mm-hmm. I want to know what's working and what's not working. So now I've got to go, now I can find it all right here, right? Where before I had to go to my Excel spreadsheet, see what I paid in advertising, or QuickBooks Online, open that up too, see how many move-ins, all these things, all these moving pieces, where now you can just see it all in one spot.
Yep. So we've got a bunch of high-level KPIs, again, for those comparisons. And then on the side, we've got a couple of other pages that we can go to that kind of just change the view a little bit. So we can hit the compare, and it takes just a moment to load. But again, we've got the filters up at the top so that we can, again, select certain facilities, select different metrics.
Yeah, who knows? My computer's probably running overload right now. But what's nice is you can select, for myself, I've got multiple towns with multiple facilities. So you can pick 4 sites at once, and you're pulling up, even if you're a syndicator, if you're raising money, this is nice to show your investors what just that portfolio is doing, not all your sites.
Yeah. And then we wanted to start looking at things not by comparing by facility, but over time. And so this first chart here again, try to make the most important things come up first, is how are you doing this month compared to last month? So your most recent time period, and how are you doing this for the same month a year ago, knowing that there's a lot of seasonality in the business. So how are you doing? How are you pacing? What's going on as you're moving through the year? Again, hoping to help make decisions, figure out what has changed and what could be possibly changed. So again, a bunch of these things then by looking at time and by site to compare those. And again, a lot of these are just comparisons, figuring that your business better than anybody else. You know which areas are doing well, and this then helps reinforce all of that and highlight those really big differences.
Yeah. And again, we don't have to go through all this stuff because there's a ton here. If people have different things they want to pull, different data they want to pull, how customizable is this?
Andrew, do you want to take that one?
Yeah. So you've got the out-of-the-box functionality here, and if your ask or request is something that's just generally valuable for everybody, we'll add it, right? That's the goal, is to make this a generally valuable tool. And one of the questions you asked at the beginning of the conversation, or something you want to get into, John, was how does this compare to them trying to build this themselves with AI, right? Like, how do these things compare? And that the answer to that kind of ties into this question as well. We work with AI most of the day, every day, across the entire team. We're in it building real systems, and we love it. We're big AI fans. Where AI is going to fall short in building you this kind of stuff is in actually creating the core data foundation. Once you give AI the good core data foundation, as long as you give it guardrails, it can actually do a pretty good job. But what I mean by the core data foundation is we're setting up like a couple of core data sets under the hood of this. So you're setting up a data set like one row per location or facility, one row per lease, one row per these different entities that the business cares about. And then you're creating columns that match that unit of analysis, what a row should represent in those, both from QuickBooks or from Sage, as well as from the property management system. That's where AI is not going to work very well. It's not going to do a very good job of creating those distinct tables in the right grain and setting up the right columns. It's gonna have a heck of a time doing that in the right way for you. It just doesn't work yet. Maybe it'll get there. Once you give AI that type of data structure, then it can be really, really powerful. So if someone is coming and they're asking us for customization of this, that's probably where we're going to go with this tool. It's not necessarily that we're going to go build a million different visualizations and reports. We're going to layer AI on top of this so that we're giving you the good core data foundation, and you can use AI to do whatever you want to on top of that solid foundation. We haven't built that in yet. There's a way that you do that the right way so that it works to its maximum effect, let's say. And right now, we're just barely getting this rolled out. John has been a great partner and our first guinea pig. But as the customer base grows on this, we'll be able to see what the common questions are outside what's already there. And we'll start to get an established pattern of queries and things that people are interested in. And we can set those up as references for the AI so that it can go and do that on your behalf for your data foundation specifically.
That's good. Well, a lot of good information. It's interesting because I was on a storage mastermind call last week, and I mean, AI is everywhere, right? But we all hear like you should be doing and using AI yourself, and everyone's trying to become an AI expert. And the more I think about it, yeah, you need to know a little bit, I think, right? But you don't need to be an AI expert because and I see it all the time, and I've found myself guilty of losing time doing things that I should be doing, as opposed now I'm learning AI stuff, right? And I'm spending hours on hours, which is like what am I doing? I'm taking my eye off the ball, right? I'm not focusing on the main thing, to where even if AI could do something like this for you, like you said, it's it's not like you're just snapping your fingers and it's just going to show up, right? Like there's a lot that goes into it. Even if it could do it, but there's a lot that goes into it. You're going to have a ton of time involved. And what did you sacrifice to get there? And like you said, you guys are using AI, and I kind of want to hear, some specifics that you guys are using AI with. But yeah, I think that's where people are getting lost. Everyone is maybe feeling this kind of pressure where it's like, I need to learn AI. I need to learn everything about it. In fact, I have some buddies trying to build what you guys have built with AI, and they're weeks or months into doing it with no success, right? So just kind of my 2 cents there. But how are you guys using, maybe in your everyday lives, but also in the software here, in your world, how are you using AI?
I'll take that first, John, or you want me to? Go ahead, John.
I'll go first. So we use it for a couple of different things. One is as kind of a thought partner. So as we have ideas, this is one of the areas that I use it a ton. I have a lot of background in a lot of different things, and so I have these ideas, but I still am aware enough that I don't know everything. And so using AI like ChatGPT, just the off-the-shelf things that are out there, I'll use that as a thought partner and say, okay, what am I missing? Critique my ideas and my thoughts so I can try and refine those faster. When I move into then, so that's a really helpful thing. And oftentimes that will then help me figure out new ideas or figure out where my own idea is weak so I can shore those up. So that's one area that I use it a ton. Another area is when I get into then writing the code and doing that. There are certain aspects of code that I'm fantastic at and certain other aspects of it that I am terrible. Never spend the effort. And AI is really good if the problem is simple and has been solved a gazillion times already online. And so if I can figure out how to break a problem down into those little tiny pieces, then I can give it to AI and feel pretty confident that it's going to give me something decent. But it still requires a bit of expertise and me knowing what I need to test to then go through and actually test all those pieces. So I'm finding more and more as AIs get better, I'm trusting it more for those things, but I still have to verify all of the core functionality. But yeah, so those I think are the two areas where I find I use it a ton. And as we've had our team start using it, it's been a lot of the same thing of go try, like set aside a little bit of time, not a ton, but a little bit of time, figure out where the boundaries are. What can you trust it with? What can you not? And these models, like all other computer models, there's a principle called garbage in, garbage out. And that I find more and more is true with all these AI models, that if you can give it good starting points, good foundations, and again, it scrapes the entire web and there's tons of good stuff on there and there's tons of garbage. So, but if you can find those right pieces and get it down the right track, you can oftentimes get really good results. And that I think speaks to what Andrew said on, like with this product, getting that good data foundation, that's the garbage, or it's not garbage. We're trying to explicitly make it as with no garbage at all so that you get high quality results when you start asking it, because everything is well defined, it's very clear. And the AI can read that sort of documentation and then start to go through its own process and figure things out. But if you don't have that foundation, yeah, it's going to be a mess. So those are my thoughts. Andrew, what do you have?
Yeah, in my own personal life, I've really embraced the idea that I think in thoughts rather than think in words. And so it's been really helpful to, when I'm thinking about something and it's really still in pretty heavy thought form, to go on a walk and use the dictate mode and pick your model and just do stream of consciousness thought to have it materialize the thoughts into more of a structured word form. When I'm trying to share it with the team or share it with a partner or something like that, that's probably been the biggest unlock, is, as John said, as a thought partner, where it can help me take what are thoughts and turn them into structured words and structured ideas. For customers or groups that we're working with, there's been some fun use cases. There's AI has enabled like large document processing in really interesting ways, and being able to take 300-400 page documents and do things with them, extract features, find things, match things. So that we have one group that they create these proposals off of these huge RFPs for installations of big buildings and big facilities. And they're specifically just an electrical contractor, right? All they care about is just the electrical part of the RFP. And there's really interesting schematics and designs for electrical information. They want AI to go find that part of the document, then look at the design, the electrical design, and then create like a bill of materials and a quote. So like we're building that system, for example. There's another one that helps large contractors with their safety program. So they get the safety program from the contractor and the safety programs that are dictated by like the state, by the federal government. And they're saying, where is their problems, where are their mismatches? And having AI help, human experts evaluate those types of things. Then when you start to chain these things together, you get really valuable things. We have one large publisher that we're working with. They own like a lot of newspapers and magazines and stuff. And they're trying to turn their physical subscribers into digital subscribers and get new customers. And so helping to identify the most valuable way to do that with traditional machine learning and data science, and then mix AI into that where you're ideating with the human experts, all that stuff becomes really powerful. So those are the types of systems we build outside the self-storage space and in the real world.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Well, and I think like the common theme is obviously AI is powerful and it's who knows where it's going to go, but it's helping people become more efficient and be able to do more, right? Because I think a lot of people are, I think a lot of people are, I don't want to say overworked, and I'm not saying you guys are overworked, and you may be, I don't know, but it's making everybody more efficient, or it should be if you're using it correctly. I think a lot of people are scared it's going to take their job. It's probably going to take some, but I think it's helping people become more efficient and be able to focus on higher level tasks. So
to your point though, that efficiency is sometimes helping people create things they probably shouldn't be spending time on. In the last year, I think I've built like 7 or 8 apps just because I can now and I can do it fast. And then I'm like, I probably shouldn't have spent a week on that. It's not something I would have done beforehand, and I could have done something more productive at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Cool. Well, yeah, obviously we're not going to go through all this. But is there anything you guys want to hit on before we and we'll end with kind of sharing your information, how people can reach out to you, but anything you want to hit on before we sign off here?
Well, I'm curious. I mean, I know this is still fairly new to you, but what are you using it for now? If you're using it, what's your kind of go-to, where you jumping in, and what are you looking at? And what decisions are you making off of it?
I mean, the bar graphs are great, especially year over year, month over month. I love looking at that. I'll be completely honest. I've had this for I think somewhat completed for a weekish, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
I need to let go of my pacifier, which is my Excel spreadsheet, and use this more. I am logging in daily, but it's a lot more information than what I'm used to, which is good. Now I just got to figure out what my main basically KPIs are that I'm looking for, and which graphs and numbers and all that. But no, it's great. It's what I was looking for. Like I said, and I've got to dive into it, but like advertising, I have no idea what my cost per customer is. I have a decent idea from my Excel spreadsheet, but I have to join 2 pieces of information together, actually more than that, dig it up, and it takes probably 20 minutes, a half hour to figure that out. Now right. I should be able to just log into here and see it. So yeah, it's going to make just decisions like that. Should we advertise or not? Or how much should we spend? When should we spend that money, right? Because there's timings throughout the year, and being able to see historically what that looks like, when our move-ins are. And every location is different for us. Not all the move-ins happen in March or April. So to be able to see that per facility, per town, per city is going to be definitely helpful.
Well, as you're using it and as you see the things that really are super helpful to you, let us know so that we can re-architect, move it around so that it's as intuitive as possible for you. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. Again, well, appreciate you guys. This is one, appreciate you for coming on, but appreciate you guys for allowing me to be a part of this kind of journey, and excited to see where you guys are going to go with this. But I know it's going to help a ton of storage operators, without a doubt. So with that said, people want to reach out to you to find out more. Where can they find you guys?
So our website is still kind of a placeholder. Feel free to just call me or text me directly. My cell phone number is 208-313-5165. Call, text anytime. And then my email is just andrew@argoanalytics.ai. We'll get that. I don't know if you have show notes or anything, but we'll make sure that you have that in our contact info. But yeah, just call or text me, and we're happy to get on, walk you through it, answer any questions. I don't know if it's too early to say some of this stuff, but like, we're trying to make this as simple and inexpensive and easy as possible. Like, it's $100 a month. You can cancel anytime. Try it out. Call us and let's get it going and see if it's not useful. Let us know why it's not, so we can make it useful. The goal is to be maximally useful to the industry and to build these partnerships. We're excited about it.
Yeah. Well, and you hit on it. And before I forget, feel free to reach out to me. I can connect you guys too with
Great.
anybody. But yeah, you drop the price, which it's basically nothing, right? The hours that I have in building my Excel spreadsheet every week or month is like, I'm saving money without a doubt. But it's I was gonna hit on something else and I forget. But yeah, I mean, it's not expensive, right? It's another tool. And I know what it was. You guys are very any feedback, you guys have been open with me with any feedback, and you guys make changes, and it's not like you're working with this huge company where it's like, no, this is what you get. What we have is what you get. You guys are open to it, open to changing it, especially if more people have the same want the same data, have the same issues, whatever. You guys are open to changing that, which is rare, which is what I love. So
yeah, and so we'll be walking that balance, right? The requests that come in, like, we don't want it to be so complicated and overdone that it's not useful anymore. That's where AI is going to be super helpful, but it's a new product. So, if you're coming and working with us, be aware it's still a new product, but we are good at this. We've been doing this a long time, and we're trying to make it maximally useful to everyone. And we're trying to do it in such a way that it can be super inexpensive and a no-brainer and easy to work with us and the product.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I think you guys have hit all those. So awesome. Well, yeah, appreciate you guys coming on here. Obviously, we'll have your contact information in the show notes, and if anyone wants to learn more, feel free to reach out.
Awesome.
Otherwise, guys, again, thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Appreciate having us on, John.
We'll see you.